Good day to you, dear visitors. What if I told you that Gandalf had actually tortured Gollum before the main events of The Lord of the Rings? And more than that, he fully confides in Frodo about this, and he even tries to say that this was the only possible way to get the necessary information out of the poor creature. And well, let's see what he has to say about this. Let's read a small scene happening when Gandalf visits Frodo again in his house, in his home of Baggins. But first we'll look into the way Gandalf describes the vision of Gollum's, the Gollum's own vision of his possession of the ring and how he came about it. So let's look at this. Then what happened after Bilbo escaped from him? Do you know that? Not so clearly. What I've told you is what Gollum was willing to tell, though not, of course, in the way I have reported it. Gollum is a liar, and you have to sift his words. For instance, he called the ring his birthday present, and he stuck to that. He said it came from his grandmother, who had lots of beautiful things of that kind. A ridiculous story. I've no doubt that Smeagol's grandmother was a matriarch, a great person in her way, but to talk of her possessing many elven rings was absurd. And as for giving them away, it was a lie, but a lie with a grain of truth. The murder of Diego haunted Gollum, and he had made up a defense, repeating it to his precious over and over again as he gnawed bones in the dark, until he almost believed it. It was his birthday. Diego ought to have given the ring to him. It had previously turned up just so as to be a present. It was his birthday present, and so on and on. And after telling this part of the story to Frodo, Gandalf finally acknowledges his guilt, so to say, of torturing the poor creature. Let's see what he has to say about this. I endured him as long as I could, but the truth was desperately important, and in the end I had to be harsh. I put the fear of fire on him. Let's make a small pause here. So listen to this. Fear of fire. So he probably used some of his fire magic. Or maybe he even used it on Gollum himself, not just near him. Okay, let's continue reading this part of the story. I put the fear of fire on him and ran the true story out of him, bit by bit, together with much sniveling and snarling. He thought he was misunderstood and ill-used, but when he had at last told me his story, as far as the end of the riddle game and Bilbo's escape, he would not say any more, except in dark hints. Some other fear was on him greater than mine. He muttered that he was going to get his own back. People would see if he would stand being kicked and driven into a hole and then robbed. Gollum had good friends now, good friends and very strong. They would help him. Baggins would pay for it. That was his chief thought. He hated Bilbo and cursed his name. What is more, he knew where he came from.